Welcome, everyone. And here we are, another time for WeAwake, where we get together and we use the technology that we've been developing all these years to create a space for group meditation. And it's very powerful. And if you meditate a lot, you can feel the difference when you meditate with others. There's just a different quality. Not that meditating alone there's anything wrong with that. In fact, it's necessary, right? You have to do an inner work. But or I mean, can you imagine if you had a computer and or some device and all you did was take care of the outside of it? I mean, it was really shiny and the glass was clean and everything, but you never did anything to do the inner part of the workings of the device of the computer. Well, it would last until it and that would be it. Throw away and get another one, right? So you have to do inner work. And this is Heidi suggested this. We do that. It's Brain Awake. And it's by my friend and our dear colleague Joseph Kao from the UK. And there's two parts of it. There's one with a guided meditation, but we're just going to do the one with the entrainment part. And this is designed to get your noggin working, get your head and your mind and your brain functioning at a high level. So yeah, let's go into this and see what happens, see what emerges in your experience. Don't try to force it, but just let it emerge. And if you actually do start thinking some pretty profound thoughts, well, that's great. And there's nothing wrong with the mind. I think in kind of the green postmodern thing, we gave thinking a really bad name, right? Oh, you're just in your head. Like there was something wrong with your head. It's like the only time the head is wrong is when it's not connected to your heart. Okay. It's just a matter of like Ken Wilber said, he said the Nazi doctors, the ones that were doing experiments on women and children, men they were really smart, but they had the ethics of a unicelled organism and that's really probably discrediting and unicelled organisms. Anyway, so if you have the brain cut off from the heart, you have hell. When you have the brain and the heart connected, you have enlightenment. So let's focus on our hearts and our brain and see what this does us, because we all have gifts that want to come through us and come through these incredible brains. And I was talking with Marianne Williamson yesterday on the podcast, Deep Transformation, which is coming out soon. It was really amazing. I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting much. I just, well, okay, we'll see what she has to say. And you got to check this out when it comes out. It's about a 45-minute conversation, but she was so wise and so real and so humble, you know. She put out the ideas right there, but definitely didn't try to, you know, do the Trump thing. I'm the chosen one. I'm perfect. I'm the greatest ever. Blah blah blah. All this stuff. She was a real human being, and one of the things she said was, I'm going to see if I get this right. The only thing that is lacking in any situation is what you need to do. You know, so if you're complaining and whining about the political situation in your country, well, what are you doing? You know, and another thing she said, it says the only time I get in trouble, when I get in trouble, is when I'm not walking my talk or I'm not doing what I preach. And I was like, oh gosh, that got me, because I've done a lot of talking and a lot of preaching about these things, and I look at my life, I go through hard times, and am I doing what I would tell somebody that I would be working with? Okay. not so much sometimes. So I just have to renew it and do what I need to do. And I could go, I mean, it's not that difficult, but it definitely involves integral practice and working on myself through the hard times, through the good times, and seeking God in all things and all creatures, right? I mean, that's what it is for me. And then, what is my little part I can do? And maybe a little part, but the little part comes from the all, the everything. And that's true for all of us. So let's do this now. And this is Brain Away, track 2. And let me see if I can find it here. All right. This is, let me see, what, experience new insights, heighten creativity, um, and trains primarily to beta and alpha, but also gamma and theta periodically. So you'll have instances where it goes to a different brainwave state, and it works together to create this thing of a high functioning of your brain, your blessed sacred brain, right? So let's connect the heart and the brain and do this together, and we'll see you on the other side. Welcome back, everyone. How was that? Uh, it was beautiful. Really, thank you, Heidi. Good choice. And I was reading an article from this book. It's How Psychedelics Can Save the World: Visionary and Indigenous Voices Speak Out, and edited by Stephen Gray. So I was reading an article by Jamie Wheel, who I believe we've had him on the podcast. Is it? Yeah, he's a brilliant. Uh, yeah, one of our great minds on the planet right now. And he talked about three phases in our evolutionary journey as individuals. And maybe it applies to communities too, I don't know. But first is the pre-tragic. And I don't know if any of you can remember that, but probably in your mother's womb, and it got rough after that. But I had a pretty good I had good parents. They were kind to me. Yeah, I everything went pretty well with me until I was uh, about 30 years old, and then the proverbial stuff hit the fan. Bam, 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 bam. All these tragedies and losses, just all. When it rains, it pours. It was that sort of thing. And so then you have the tragic phase. You realize, oh wow, not everybody's nice. You know, I'm going to die, and so is everybody else. Yikes. And by the way, and I'm broken. Life is taking me. And then after that, it's the post-tragic phase. Pre-tragic, tragic, post-tragic. So I think probably most people who are listening to this and participating with this, have discovered the tragic nature of existence. Okay. But what is beyond that, given that? And Jamie said the post-tragic probably involves a lot of dancing. So I like that. And I think it also, as my friend and my brother Bob Weathers, Dr. Bob Weathers, talks about a lot about gratitude. And in the Bible, you have Old Testament, New Testament. There's a lot of stuff about praising God. You know, uh, as I went through my deconstruction phase of the scriptures, what the hell? Does God have this ego where he needs us to tell him how great he is? What a silly God that would be. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. You're really great. Thank you, God. No, I don't think that's it at all. But I think what it is we need to be grateful, develop an attitude of gratitude, just thank you. Thank you for uh, what I see outside Heidi's window. Thank you for Heidi. Thank you for Sabi. Thank you for Louis. And it involves accepting our brokenness and gratitude for that sacred wounding, and realize we're not going to fix it. We don't get fixed. I think that's the wrong direction to go when we're dealing with trauma and dealing with our hurts and our wounds that can cause us great suffering and depression, and eventually, if we don't come to terms with it, very self-destructive behaviors and destructive of other people's behaviors. It's a disaster. So we have to hold it and go, okay, what is beyond that? I'm broken. The world, as Buddha said, being alive is to suffer. So what do we do with this? And I think it's well, I think it's a koan. It's a spiritual question that each one of us has to answer. And I know that I personally I have to live up to a lot because I've said a lot, you know, in my writings and talking and everything. I've recommended some pretty high levels of human behavior and functionality and discipline to practice and work on ourselves. If I would just do what I've told others they should do, right? Somebody said one time when you're pointing a finger at somebody, you've got like three coming back at you, So it'd be better not to say anything than to say something and then not live up to it. Um, yeah. So what is that post Ratchet? God, that's a whole huge question. I think it involves recognition of who and what we are and the sacred nature of everything, and the realization that the universe is conscious. You know, it's not just a big nothing out there. You know, black holes and swirling gas and stars. It's all consciousness is primary, not a secondary product that came from, I don't know, this mystery that we call life. We get to the point where we are the universe being self-reflective, which we should be self-reflective anyway. Uh, it's like a personal God. Do you believe in a personal God? Well, I've gotten personal with everybody on the screen. So, yep, uh, it's true. If we are God being personal, so personal wouldn't even exist even as a concept or an experience if that weren't the nature of things at a deep level. So as we begin to go and begin to find, begin to sit in stillness and say, okay, I'm going to be grateful for what I've been given. I'm grateful for this opportunity to wake up and to be of service and to be more loving and to dance. So yeah, that's probably good. So anyway, thanks, Jamie. And yeah, we're in the middle of a psychedelic revolution, part two, right? When I was a kid, it started. Then it went away underground. Now it's come back. So God literally help us to use these gifts of wisdom, not to get lost in our little self. It's like the dog chasing his tail. You know, to get out of that, we need to connect with the larger, mysterious, oh my God, the nature of deep reality and all reality. Just sometimes we don't see it. So I said I would stop talking, so I will. Anyway, God bless you guys. Love you. Thank you. And we'll see you next time. And keep practicing. Go deep.